Okay, team 5, you're ready? Who's going to be presenting? All right. Do you have any prototype? All right. Go ahead, you can move your prototype. Oh, you have it in the second table? Okay, just move it this side. Here. Don't have to take it all. Okay, while they're setting their model, let's give them a hand. Okay, you can, whoever is going to be leading the presentation. Who is your leader? Okay. Go ahead. While they're adjusting, you can bring your people in. Or they're going to stay here? Okay.
Oh. Yeah?
Okay, give a hand to team 5, please. So, all yours.
Good afternoon. I'm Cherim from Korea University of Team 5. Our team consists of Korea University, FA, MSRUS, PSG, and NID. It's my pleasure to welcome you to our presentation of Vita and Socius. Our presentation is divided into 5 parts. The outline is as shown. Customer insights, industrial design, information technology, product engineering, and manufacturing process. Now we'll begin. First, I will be explaining about our customer insight. We set targets as baby boomers of India who are 52 to 72 years old and tourists to India for the following reasons. First, economically in 2015, 66 million households were part of the consumption class, which is 27% of India's total household. It will rise to 53% of total households in 2025, implying a mammoth of 800 million and more individuals belonging to the consumption class. This creates a buying potential for our product. Next is about society. Elderly people are isolated. Economic security of them is based on self-earning, savings, and family. Almost 90% are dependent on agriculture, business, and wage work. Only 29% have pension and renting property. A lot of elder people in India are dependent on their family. They are unable to live independently and access to medical and social services in the outside world. Currently, less than 11% of older Indians have a pension. Only 35% of them have investments, and the others are poor. It shows elderly people in India have poor status in their society. Since targets with that have unhealthy nutrition, physical inactivity, and obesity, almost 47% of elderly people in India have lifestyle-related disease. Therefore, they have difficulty moving to somewhere on foot. Next is about traffic of India. They are so overcrowding because of their huge populations. And they have poor quality of public transport, like this picture. Currently, the number of private vehicles is increasing, and their road infrastructure quality is bad. That's the end of my part. Now, Sinyan from Korea University will talk about other side of customer insight. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Cherry. Good afternoon. Thank you for coming. I'm Seungyeon from Korea University. First, I will be explaining about market research. This graph is about elder population in India from the technical group on population projections. Since it shows tendency to increase of population, we choose India as our target market. We surveyed elder of India in city of Bangalore, Coimbatore, and Chennai. The participants were age of 50 and above. According to survey, 77% of respondents prefer sitting to standing. Therefore, we decide to design as sitting type. Let me see next graph. It shows 56.5% of replies said they would like to carry or push their mobility if it's possible. As a result, we design mobility as pull or push type. People usually access public transport by walk and bike. Public transport from our survey, 40.3% and 37.1% traveled by walk and bike, respectively. Thus, they can be our marketable audience for our products. According to our survey, 77% of respondents prefer having a seat, and our mobility should be compact and light to push and pull around. Because of their disability, it should have more than 2 wheels to get better balance and assist drivability. To use in India's bad road infrastructure, comfort has to be given highest priority. That's the end of my part. Now, Rodrigo from Pay will give a presentation about install design.
I want to thank my friend Cho. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Rodrigo Santillan, leader of Team 5. I will be presenting the Vita concept, developed by Ramaiah University. Vita concept was originated from the need of accommodating the expectations of the users by obtaining various possibilities, diverse geometries and styles, along with the help of Sketchbook Pro. When we found the best solution for the project, we continued to evolve its study with surface modeling using Autodesk Alias, thus obtaining the computational model of the product. For the rendering, we used the software 3ds Max and Showcase. Vita comes with a proposal of diversifying the user's way to interact with the product, providing a diversified experience of the competition in a future market. Packages was designed keeping in mind to ease the senior for them to get on and get off the vehicle with ease. Push-up systems of the vehicle comes with motor assist to help them to get along with no much effort. Once the throttle is let go, the vehicle senses and starts braking. Thank you all for the attention to the following video. I hope you liked.
Thanks, Rodrigo, for the presentation. I hope you enjoy the video. Myself, Mohammad Zija from National Institute of Design. So I'll be explaining you the industrial design part of Socius. So when we started the design, can you please go back? So next. So when we started the design, we were looking for inspiration from a lot of places. So we were looking at certain aspects of the target group, and we found out that they were facing with a lot of problems like loneliness, social isolations, etc. And one interesting aspect which we noticed that the target consumer had a positive impact from pets because they were providing companionship and all those factors. So we, excuse me, can you please go back? Yeah, sorry about that. Right. So basically, we're looking inspiration from pet, and because they were giving companionship, and it was seen that for the given customer group, it was a good example to take attributes from. And when I started the concept generation, we wanted to keep in mind certain insights we got from our consumer insights. For example, memory and attention loss of vision, joint pain, and agility, etc. So we decided that the model need to have a firm grip to hold the handle, and it need to have a firm backrest, and certain actions needed to be avoided, for example bending and bending of knees, etc. So these were the initial ideations. Go next. Next. Yeah. So this was the first idea, and this was not taken forward because it was too bulky and it looked more wheelchair. And that was the second idea which we went forward with because it allowed for a interesting egress as well as a firm back support and handle. Next. This is how the concept proceeded. So as you can see the details of the concept, there is a backrest and there is a handle which is foldable, and the person can have an easy egress so that there is no, he is not scared of falling. And there are accelerator pedal and footrest on the place where you keep the, your legs. Next. So these are the final renders of a concept. Next. So this is human-machine interface. So while creating the human-machine interface, also we are taking care of the consumer insights. So one thing which we did was we separated the steering and the acceleration functions. So the steering is provided onto the handle by just sliding left or right, and the acceleration and brake is provided onto the footrest. Next. And the model is also portable. When not in use, you can push it, and also for convenience there is storage under the seat. Thank you. Next, I would like to invite Harsha for the presentation.
Good afternoon, one and all present here. I'm Harshvardhan Devraj from PSC Tech, India. I'm here to present about information technology part of our project. The IT infrastructure comprises of three main parts: the smartphone, the dock, and the headquarters. The vital part of smartphones is to work with our system is connecting, paying, and the application itself. The mobile phone can be an Android or iOS device. The senior friendliness of the app has also been addressed while designing the user interface. The app can function its fullest when it's connected to the internet through a cellular network. If the cellular network is unavailable, it caters the basic needs of the vehicle. The IT infrastructure is shared use system ready, as our second year's direction is to implement shared use system so that tourists can easily access the vehicles by renting it. The vehicle connects to the smartphone through Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. The cellular network is used to connect to the internet. Payment forms a very significant part of shared use systems as they are critical for usability and thus the success of the system. The payment through electrical payment facilities such as Paytm and Airtel payments are obnoxious in India. So these are some of the companies which offer mobile payment services. The mobile apps provide gateway through which payment can be made for renting vehicles. So next we see the penetration of the market. That is, Indian mobile wallet market is expected to be rupees 1,512 billion by the financial year of 2020. So it's a rapidly growing field. Now we'll see the penetration of smartphone, internet, and the access through mobile services in the next slide. So usage of smartphones and internet is on a rapid rise in India. Due to demonetization last year, the government has been providing many ways through which people can avoid currency transactions. Mobile transaction is one of the important ways. Urban areas, including the Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 cities, have good 3G and 4G connectivity. So as you can see in the pictures, even a small vegetable vendor or a shoe cobbler has access to these systems. So you can imagine the penetration of this system in India. As you can see in this slide, the mobile phone internet usage, the smartphone usage of Indian people in 2020 is estimated to be 500 million, and average user uses 10 gigabyte of data per month. And also through the unified paying system developed by the government of India, all banks can be accessed through a smartphone. This has increased marginally since its launch, and in March of 2017, the total transaction has estimated to be $338 million US. Next slide. So now we will see the most vital part, that is the app. So this is you can use the app when you own the vehicle or you are renting it. This is the screen of the app. First, you will register it, where the system asks for the basic details such as names, date of birth, and stuff like that. Once you registered, you can log into the app using this interface, where it asks for a pattern, PIN, or a fingerprint. By unlocking the smartphone app, you can unlock the device also. So there is no separate lock for the device. So this is typically the home screen. As mentioned earlier, this was designed with seniors in mind. Basically, there are 5 parts of this home screen. One is My Vita. My Vita gives these details about the vehicle's performance. The nearby part, what's around, gives us basically the restaurants and other points of interest. So this is basically the home screen, where My Vita screen, where you can see the battery details, the range, the storage, the motors for performance. And as you can see, there are 2 driving modes, which was mentioned earlier. This app provides a way to switch between these modes. Next. So this is the navigation system of our app, which uses either Google Maps or Apple Maps to navigate the person to the place. As you can see, the speed and the battery life is indicated. The climate is also indicated for convenience. Next. So after, when you stop the vehicle, the app defaultly switches back to the My Vita screen, so you can revise the details about the app. So this is basically the nearby location points of interest. This is mainly constituted because elder people are so isolated, they need to socialize. So these kind of places help other elders to meet, gather, socialize, and enjoy their life. So again, after this gets back to the status. Next. So since our vehicle is shared as well as personally utilized, there are several charging docks placed throughout the city, especially near mass rapid transit systems. So this app also shows you where the nearest charging station is. So this is basically the favorites screen where there is emergency contact listed here. So in case of emergency, they can just tap and the call goes. And also there are saved locations and the favorites or recently visited places below, because old people usually go to the same people again and same place again and again. So that's one convenient feature. Next. And this is the final thing. If you don't have any idea where to go, you can just put a let's go and drive as you want. So the dock. The dock forms an important part and a very important system in our concept, because it provides the charging necessary in public places and as well as acts as a shared use system portal through which people can pay and rent the vehicle. For example, tourists who visit India they can't carry their own devices, so they can rent these devices. And another part is like this docks collects the data about the vehicle and streams to the headquarters. This data it is further utilized to improvise the second edition of this vehicle. Next. So the headquarters basically maintains the user data. It authorizes payment portal. It also monitors the data, the functioning of the vehicle, and the data is used for other PLM uses. It also issues software updates for the vehicle for continuous development. So this is the IT infrastructure for our project. Next slide will be continued by Camelia. Thank you.
Thank you, Harsha. So, good afternoon. My name is Camila. I am responsible for engineering the area. So, we started the work with the collaboration with design and engineering. The sketches were developed during about three months, and according to the best feedbacks, we choose the design of Vita and socials. So, the development of this concept was based on the study of the CAD models and the analysis of them. We created these sketches following the designing sketches, and they were modeling by NX software. The Vita has three options of its puzzle. The structure influencing directly in the assembly components to be possible to model pins, holes, screws, for example. These drawings are important to define the degrees of freedom of the sections, establishing the fixations of the pieces or align their rotation. In the process, it's possible the configuration of the seat, the floor, and the armrest. The battery is located between the motors and the wheel. The back is the waste of weight. Some elements like the floor and the side frame were thought about decrease of weight. The rear wheels were projected in double for that each front wheel with different velocity during the steering. To the reduce of friction in the tires. So in socials, the folded version operates turning the turning the seat and slide down, and the random bar and the footrest works decreasing their heads and to stand. The equipment can be transported like a suitcase or pushed with the help of the wheels. The part integrates to the footrest of the motor case. The Bone 31 front wheel, similar to the Vita system, the model has the wheels being two of them, two sides, for the traction of the body, and the second working also the stability help. The circular structure has the function just related to designing a part of support of the seat. The simulator is based on both 3D projects, and this way it's possible to verify the deformation indentations at the structures according to the force applied. For Vita, this was made the analysis of the suspension, considering like a mass string damper. For this, we choose the frequency more comfortable for the human beings. In the dynamic analysis of the rear suspension, we simulate the impact test, and the angular displacement obtaining the time damper and the force displacement. From the front part is the same way. And In the structural analysis, we considered where the reaction forces act. In the case of the load of the suspension hub on front wheels receives, choosing a mesh and then putting this force, we obtain the stress and displacement in the theory critical structure, and maximum stress in the less than yield stress, so the element doesn't failure this case. So, and the same was made for the floor frame where the suspension wheels is located. In such the analysis was developer considering the action of the force and the seat and the supports reaction in the points of the contact with the ground. The results of both simulations are the maximum tensions and the deformation in the structural study. This is the representation of the reaction in the points. The vehicle technical specification, it is presenting the main definitions of the mechanical and electrical system parameters. They were based on the structural analysis, morphology of each product, and defining its conditions. The materials chosen based on the graphic maps and analyze the real strength and the average of the products of density price compared the aluminum alloys with the steel alloys. And that's the same region. So studying just the density variable, focus on the health and the publication, we can realize the aluminum loss is lighter and appropriate to the product. Therefore, it's in the aluminum alloys, which is the aluminum 6061, as held in the good return. The model selected through the calculations for the critical situations and the conditions, like force and traction, torque, and rotation, so we could find the necessary power for both droppers. The battery was chosen through the power calculated and the definite conditions like the range and speed. The charger was selected following the same criteria in charging. For the suspensions, which is mainly the coil springs structured like the inner hub, they are cheaper and easy to find. The choice of the disc brake was the better thing in the security because it adapts easily on the structure. So the main target for the ergonomics is related to the comfortable high seat to the ground, a proper handlebar to distribute the tensions on the hand, a proper touch of the feet to the ground, suitable inclinations, and an anatomic seat, facility to get out the vehicle. So the calculation of the moments and for the validation plan, we also completed thinking about the stability. And we use the very high and the conditions for the capacity. So we proved the calculation of the moments with the reaction, and we found the angle values and the start lateral typing of the vita, and the same for the socials. And for the product life cycle, we touched the choice also in recyclable materials and the propulsion system against the emission. And using the Team Center, we could connection all sectors sharing the right data. So now, Jessica will talk about manufacturing production. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, Camila. My name is Jessica. I'm from FAI, and I'm responsible for the manufacturing process. First, I'm going to talk about the location of the plant site, taking into account that the target area is mostly Asia. We have chosen 3 countries to be studied: China, India, and Singapore. The main reason of choosing India to the plant location was that the government has a program called Make in India, that promises to attract more industries. For India, the team has decided for other criteria and made the decision to place the factory in Odisha. As you can see in the map, there is a train line passing through the city that will facilitate logistics inside India and outside too. Now I'm going to talk about the product life cycle in 2 perspectives. This topic is related to the sustainability, including all the stages of the products and also a conscious consumption. In an environmental perspective, it is important to mention that we'll be working with a life cycle assessment. to identify financial and environmental effects of our product. The factory will also apply the 3R, reduce, reuse, recycle, in order to lower costs and increase the sustainability of the factory in general. This is also related to reverse logistics, that the product that were discarded, we're trying to reuse, repair, remanufacture, and recycle. As some people might know, the marketing perspective has the stage shown on this curve. The team plan was based on this curve, and when the product will be near to the decline stage, the team will have to make another decision, let the product decline or renew. Our factory will work with eco-friendly report in order to reduce environmental impacts. And for that, we will be working with sustainable practice that could provide us an advantage in market. The most known sustainability is an environmental one, but the factory will be working with social and corporate sustainability too. Talking about sustainability, a topic that might come into most of the people's mind is carbon footprint. The team 5 will try to work with carbon disclosure product. That is a company that makes a detailed analysis that identifies impacts, risks, and opportunities related to sustainability. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about the plant layout, the safety, and costs in order to achieve greatest coordination and efficiency of the plant layout. The team has decided for this layout. It's worth it mention that the only difference between Socia's and Vita layout and production is that Vita doesn't have an extrusion sector, and with the help of Tecnologico, the plant layout could be made, and the factory will also be working with 5S. In order to guarantee the quality in the process and products, the factory will be using occupational health and safety, individual protective equipment, PUMA, and also different kind of maintenances, quality tools in general, and ISO 9000 system. For the cost structure, the team is planning to achieve 1 to 2% of the population of baby boomers in India. That means we would achieve 1.5 to 2.5 million people. For both of the designs, it was made a cash flow. Just to remind, those cash flows were made with simply way, not considering manufacturers such as income taxes and financing. You can also notice that the sale price will be lower as the years pass by. For Vita, the investment return period is on the 5th year quarter. For the Socias, this return happens a little bit earlier, on the 5th year, the first quarter. As you can see on this next slide, also related to business plan, we will start selling our product of the price of $1,100, and the strategy is to lower down those prices as the year pass by in order to keep consumers and continue being competitive. As you can see on this next slide, As you can see in this next slide, e-commerce in market in India is rapidly growing. So we're planning to sell our product online, which will enable us to spare some costs. The graph it represents the isolation versus age, and it shows that the older you get, the person is, more isolated she will or he will be. So our purpose is to give the elderly independency by increasing their self-esteem and giving the opportunity of not being so isolated and feeling more a part of the community. For the next year project, the team has a futuristic vision of 2030, and we will be focused on vehicle ownership. That means almost no one will have your own vehicle. Autonomous car, like Tesla, the car will be self-guided. Connected ways, that everything will be connected, increasing safety on roads and declining accidents. And alternative vehicles that is related to different ways of energy that can be used on a vehicle. Thank you very much. I hope you like the project. That's it.
Okay, you're done? Oh, yes. Okay. Plenty of time for questions for this team. Does anybody have questions? I have one question. Where is the second model?
Basically, the model is not assembled yet. We have it in parts. Like because of time constraints, we are not able to assemble. It's not assembled. Yeah, we should be able to.
Any other question? All right. I have another question then. What's the cost of this one here in front of me per unit on the first delivery? The boat, the portable and the rentable.
The cost for the real one will be 640, if I'm not wrong. I'll have to check. But the prototype, the University of Design have done by itself. It's a wood and fiberglass composite.
Thank you. All right. One question?
I don't know if I got it right, but the sawshoes, it's intended for public transportation system or ownership?
Vita and socials will be ownership that the person can buy itself the product, but also we are having others plan. In case the plan A, that is a vehicle ownership, doesn't work, we have alternatives plans like the sharing of a service for socials and Vita.
Any other question? All right, give a hand to the team 5. Thank you very much. And you can come closer if you want to check the model here.